Welcome to Seasonal Stays and Campfire Days. I'm your host Josh, and on today's episode I want to talk about the differences between a 30 amp RV and a 50 amp RV. Now, if you're looking at an RV, this is just another thing that you have to be looking into while also looking into pretty much everything else that you're looking into about an RV. But essentially, a 30 amp RV, you get 30 amps, and 50 amp RV, you basically get 100 amps. How does that happen? Let's watch the video. So a 30 amp RV, it's a 3-plug, or 3-prong, I guess, like this, cable. And essentially what it is that you got one hot leg, a neutral leg, and you have a grounding leg. So essentially what happens is that your one hot leg, that's your 30 amps right there. You got a neutral and a ground. So essentially with a 30 amp, let's say like you're trying to run an air conditioner, right? Your rig only might have one air conditioner because of it being 30 amps, because the air conditioner draws 20 of those 30 available amps. So that means that if, let's say, you also wanted to make something in the microwave, well, if your microwave decides that it's going to pull more than 10 amps, well, now you're over that 30 amp threshold and you're going to be popping breakers. With a 30 amp RV, you have to be cautious with how much power that you are drawing. Now, if you're not running like an air conditioner, and let's say you throw on the microwave and on a TV, and you're charging your phones, not usually an issue. But if you have your air conditioner running in the microwave, they could pop a breaker. You can have the air conditioner and like blow dryer running, and that could pop a breaker, and forget about even running all three of those things. Air conditioner, microwave, and a hair dryer. There's just no way you don't have enough amperage. But so just keep that in mind when you're looking at a 30 amp RV. You are limited to power. So a 50 amp RV, it's not as straightforward as what you are thinking. Now, most people are thinking 30 amp, you get 30 amps. 50 amp, you get 50 amps. But you don't actually get just 50 amps. You get 100 amps. And why does this even happen? Well, I'm going to tell you that right now. And hopefully I'm smart enough that I've been putting up like some diagrams or something, there, over here, somewhere. Because now it's going to start getting a little bit more complicated. But if you can grasp what I'm talking about, that 100 amps is going to make sense. So essentially though, with a 50 amp, you have 2 hot legs, 1 neutral, and 1 ground, which means each one of those hot legs is 50 amps. You see where this 100 amps thing is coming in? So the hot leg on the plug, one of those is just 50 amps. It's not 30 amps, it's 50 amps. And that's connected to pretty much like if you're looking at it in a house, one side of the panel. That other 50 amp leg is connected to the other side of the panel. Totally separate. So now you have 50 amp and 50 amp, you could pull 100 amps. Now, I was just watching a video from the NRVTA, and that's how I kind of got this idea in order to talk about this, because a lot of people don't really understand the two differences, or at least as much as like what I'm kind of going into. What he was saying, and this totally makes sense. So each leg you have 50 amps, right? Well, 30 amps, you run one air conditioner, that's 20 amps, and like the microwave is another 10 amps or whatever. You've already hit your limit. With 50 amp, you have the two 50 amp legs. So you have 50 amps available on the one leg, which means that you can run two 20 amp air conditioners, and technically something else. Even though you'll be right at that 50 amps on that leg, you can run all that. But here's the thing, you have a second leg that can run 2 more air conditioners and like something else. And most air conditioners around this area where we're at in the Midwest You got a 50 amp, you either have 2 or you have 3 air conditioners, which means if you have 2 air conditioners, if the manufacturer had set up your camper correctly, one air conditioner is on one leg, the other air conditioner is on the other leg, you have 30 amps on each leg to play around with. So you have 60 amps still to play around with. And that's the crazy thing about these 50 amp RVs. Really aren't limited to how much power you're pulling. Technically, the most that you can put on, you can have the 4 air conditioners, let's say. You can pretty much have 4 air conditioners, 4 large air conditioners on your camper. So 20, 20, 20, 20, that's 20, 40, 60, 80. Split those in between the 2 legs, 20, 40, 20, 40. You still got 20 amps to play with between the 2 legs. Isn't that just nuts? So the difference between a 30 amp camper and a 50 amp camper, a 30 amp camper, you get 30 amps. 50 amps, you're not just gaining 20 amps, you're gaining, what is it? 60? No, you're gaining 70 amps that you can use. Now, granted that your campground can go and actually handle all that, but most of them can. But I hope that this video helped out kind of clear up a little bit of the differences between a 30 and a 50 amp. And if you have questions about it, go ahead and comment that down below. And we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.